I'm going to show you how I nearly doubled my stock and crypto investments in the past year, and I'm going to show you the strategies that I use to do it and one of the apps I use to do it as well. Stay tuned. My name is Ty. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to click on this video. If you're new to investing or if you're trying to learn more, this is the video for you, and I'm going to share a lot of gems today. If you're new to this channel, you probably have no idea who I am. So let me tell you a little bit of things about myself and some of the things I've accomplished, not to brag or boast, but to confirm my credibility. I am a computer engineering graduate from the University of Florida. I'm also a UF Hall of Fame member. I've had several internships at companies like L3Harris, Intel, and Google. I'm currently a technical program manager at Microsoft. I invest in stocks, crypto, you name it. And I am 27. I may not know as much as somebody older than me, but what I do have is relatability. And I also know a little something. So you can take what I'm telling you today and change it into your own strategy, or take what I'm telling you today and do whatever you want with it. So let's get right into it. One of the main apps that I use for long-term investing, among other apps, is M1 Finance. So M1 Finance basically makes it way easier to invest in stocks by using pies instead of buying individual stocks. So what I do with it is I set up my portfolio. I go ahead and pull all the stocks that I want to, the percentages for each investment, and I just automate everything. I don't even really look at it. I happen to look at it today because I'm making this video. I have my savings account on here. It is not my only savings account as well. And then I have a borrow account, which I'll get into later in the video. M1 is great because it has other accounts as well, it has multiple things that you can do. So let's get into that. So you have individual investing, crypto account. You can make a joint investing account. This is great for if you have a spouse or somebody you want to invest with. You can create a joint account. You can create an IRA or a retirement account. You can create a trust account as well, and a custodial account. Custodial is for like kids and things of that nature. Trust is for if you want to have generational wealth and you want to put things in a trust that will go on to your heirs. You can do that. So as you can see, this is showing the past year gains. Like I said, I've made nearly 100% of my money, which is doubling my money in the past year. And I have my stock portfolio put into different areas. So what's good about M1 Finance is you can create what are called pies, and then within those pies you can put certain investments, and you can put the percentage of how much money you want to go into those pies, so that when you automatically invest your money, it'll just go automatically to those stocks instead of you having to buy individual stocks. So as you can see, I have mine set up as top 7 stock picks, ETFs, moderately risky stocks, speculative and low cap stocks. I have it set up in a specific way so that it is weighted towards the more safe assets, which are the top 7 and ETFs. And then it has less weight towards the moderate to risky stocks. So let me go ahead and get into my top 7 stocks. As you can see, you got Alphabet, you got Amazon, you got Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Nvidia, and also Tesla. So these are the top 7 stocks that I picked for the year, and these are pretty, solid picks. I think they'll go up over time. You can just let it sit and grow over time. For ETFs, I'll show what I have currently: VTI, VOO. I have a Global X Blockchain ETF. I have healthcare. I have energy. I have Digital Realty Trust, which is going to be very key in the next few years because it tracks the real estate behind data centers. So it has a few data centers that is in its portfolio, and I basically invest into that so that I invest in the real estate side of tech as well. And then I have a Vanguard Materials ETF, which contains stuff like raw materials and metals and things like that. Getting into moderately risky, this one is a little bit more comprehensive. This is kind of the place where I kind of play around with the investments a little bit more. So as you can see, I have AMD. I think AMD is going to do very well over time. Uber, which has done incredibly well, I think, and will continue to do well. Kava, I think that's a sleeper. If you see anything to do with Chipotle, Kava is basically the Mediterranean version of Chipotle, so I can see that going up as well. You got Coinbase, Palantir, CrowdStrike, Micron, Nike. I'm not going to get into every single thing, but I just want to give you a flavor of what I'm invested in. Again, it's not necessarily showing you which stocks, but I wanted to kind of give you just an understanding of how I have mine set up. And then I'll get into these two, which are IonQ and Symbotic. IonQ did crazy. I've been talking about this since 2023. It's a quantum computing stock that went up a lot, and as you can see, yeah, we kind of ate off that one. So yeah, yeah, I think quantum is going to do well over time, although it's kind of near the R&D phase, obviously, but I think it's going to do well over time. Symbotic has to do with supply chain robotics. I think this is going to be incredibly well because Walmart recently partnered with them to have them take over their robotics division for packaging and supply chain and things of that nature, among other things. But again, it's not necessarily about individual stocks. I just wanted to talk through some of the things that I'm invested in. All right, so now we're gonna get into the crypto investments. All right, so this is my M1 crypto portfolio. As you can see, there's only Ethereum and Bitcoin. This is a custodial account on M1 Finance, so that means I don't own my keys, but I do have another cold wallet that I'm not going to get into in this video, where I do have my keys. But for foundational investing, Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can't go wrong with that. These are the top two cryptocurrencies right now. These are going to be guaranteed to go up over time, as long as the cryptocurrency, I guess, industry is intact, right? So I have Bitcoin and Ethereum. I have most of my money in Ethereum right now because it was undervalued, and Bitcoin, you know, it goes up over time, but it's such a large asset that it may not provide the same gains as Ethereum. I'm young. I'm trying to be a little bit more risky, so this is just what I'm doing. I'm not saying to do it, but this is what I'm doing. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Make sure you have the foundation built first, and then you can get into more risky things. I just want to kind of summarize what we talked about. So make sure you check out M1 Finance. I'll leave a link in the description for that. And make sure you also have a foundation to your investment. So make sure you have assets that are guaranteed basically to go up over time, and then you can have a smaller percentage into more risky assets. If you don't have that foundation, you're going to see a bunch of swings in your portfolio, and that's just not a good setup to have. So make sure you have that foundation so that your downside impact is a little bit less compared to if you don't have that. Another thing I want to get into as well is borrowing money against your stocks. So this is more of an advanced setup, I would say, in my opinion. I only do this because I have savings on the side in another account. In case, you know, things do go wrong, I have some cash on the side. If you don't have cash on the side, I don't suggest doing this. But what I do is I borrow against my stocks to buy other assets, let those assets go up, and then I sell those assets and then pay off my loans from borrowing against my stocks. So as you can see, this is the amount that I have borrowed. You can see the amount that I can borrow up to. My margin health is pretty healthy. This basically just means that if it drops a certain amount, then they can take my stocks. And again, I have savings on the side for this reason. I don't want them to touch my stocks. So if worst case happens, then I can just use the savings. What's good about this is, to me, it's kind of like a subscription for borrowing money. So it's interest only payments, and I'll show you some of my last payments. So my most recent one was about $100, and basically I'm paying $100 in interest per month for $21,000, right? Of course I had to pay the principal down at some point, but M1 Finance allows you to pay interest only payments per month. So if the asset rises, you know, way above that, you know, monthly amount, then I'm winning, you know what I'm saying? But again, this is risky because if my stocks go down for some reason and I don't have savings, which I do have savings, then they can take my stocks. So that's what a margin call is. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure you check out the link in my bio for M1 Finance. I'll leave you with a few tips. So make sure you use M1 Finance for long-term investing. It's easy to set up a pie, and you don't have to buy individual stocks. You can just basically automate your your investments and send money from your bank account to your portfolios. Make sure you have a foundation to your portfolio, whether it's crypto or stocks, so that if something happens, then your downside is a little bit more protected. But make sure you don't put a large percentage in there, because if those speculative assets go down, your portfolio is cooked. And yeah, make sure you automate your investments. I do that with M1 Finance. Like I said, there's other ways to do it as well, but M1 Finance for me is the easiest way to go about it. With that being said, like and subscribe if you got any value from this video, and I appreciate your time. Like I said, make sure you guys get to investing if you haven't already. If you're already investing, keep learning, keep pushing, and I hope you have a great day.